Hey, it's your girl, Ice Gem, and in this video we're going to talk about supplements on the carnivore diet and one of the little hacks that I started doing early on in the diet. So, this is the second one I've done about sort of supplements on this diet. It's a little bit challenging because there's a lot of ingredients in supplements that I react to in an inflammatory way, which is usually presented in me by oedema in my feet, hands and face. I'm in a bit of a reaction at the moment because of some of the supplements I'm taking, but there was something I didn't cover in that last video, and early on I started using patches, vitamin patches instead of oral supplements, to bypass some of the ingredients. Now, studies don't suggest that these can be absorbed, but I've had some positive effects from them. So the first one I got, now I've tried a couple of different brands as well. There's another one called Patches MD, I believe, that I've tried as well. But this is the brand I've been sticking with at the moment and what I've got on hand. But those were good as well. So there are different brands out there. The first one I sort of started getting interested in was magnesium. So this was before I had the quinine bisulfate. I have really severe leg cramps, which aren't caused or affected by this diet. I already had them. Whether I'm on or off this diet, I have them. It's to do with my chronic illnesses. I will say about this magnesium though, bit strong. It's a bit strong. When I first started using it, great. I was probably very deficient in magnesium. We don't really get it. I think the natural source of it is probably water. I would say things like seawater and swimming in the sea, because I had a good reaction with Epsom salts and magnesium, you know, absorbing through the skin, which is what made me think, oh, patches could be an option. And then the other one is water, like drinking water, but I use a zero filter, which takes everything out of the water, which includes things like calcium, magnesium. I don't really trust bottled water or anything like that. There's no brands of that I trust. Yeah, I prefer zero contaminants in the water, which I have a TDS tester. That's maybe something we can touch on another time. I don't know if I'll go into that on the channel actually, but yeah, so I started with the patches to help with the cramps because bad calf cramps, and I was like, right, we can put it direct on the area. It did help at first, but I found now that it whacks my electrolytes out of balance. So like the calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium balance. So if I do need some magnesium and I'm using these ones, I'll cut a little tiny corner off of one of these now and I will put it on me. So this has now this is for the whole packet. It doesn't say what's in each patch, which is one of the drawbacks. It has 250 milligrams magnesium citrate, 350 milligrams magnesium glycinate, and 100 milligrams magnesium malate. Oh no, this is per patch, I beg your pardon. And 100 milligram magnesium oxide per patch. Now oxide's meant to be really difficult to absorb, but it's got, I think that's a wide spectrum of magnesium. I'm not deep into magnesium stuff. I know a lot of people are. Yeah, for me I found that does work, but it can whack my electrolytes out of balance. So I've been using this one. When I have a lot of seizures, like multiple a day, and when I have them it whacks my electrolytes out of balance really badly. Yeah, my mouth becomes like fully dry and everything. So this one I've been using kind of emergency, along with these other two salts over here. So I'll talk about the salts in a second, which is calcium, magnesium and zinc. Now these ones, I was using Patches MD of these as well, and they had vitamin D in. But I was finding the amount of magnesium I needed, I was having to use more than one patch, which then I think put the zinc out of balance, because I could taste the zinc in my mouth. That wasn't these patches, that was the Patches MDs. So, but I'll use these in emergencies when I'm having non-stop seizures and like my electrolytes are free falling. I'll whack one of these on, but I'm not sure that calcium can get absorbed through the skin. I will say that. Like I said, I've had the zinc taste. I've had positive effects from magnesium via patch, relaxation, improved sleep, you know, improved bowel movements, and yeah, there has been an effect on cramps as well. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's the diet or the seizures or a combination of both. My electrolyte balance is really sensitive. So, after seizures, if I'm having constant, I'll get a patch of this and hot water with these two, or food with these two. Really, really, these are like the most important supplements. They're not really supplements, but they are, like, that I use kind of every meal. So, sodium. This is Malden sea salt. It's the best, like, real salt that's available to me, that's like unfiltered. This one has got some ingredients in that, you know, not really wanting. So the ingredients list goes like this: potassium chloride, salt, anti-caking agents, magnesium carbonate, potassium hexocyanoferrate, so that's hexocyanoferrate 2, and sodium hexocyanoferrate 2 as well. So there's some ingredients I'm not really wanting, but this is for potassium. Yeah, I found, this is for me personally, if I can keep sodium in the right level, then the others don't free fall, but my potassium doesn't seem to stay well leveled either. So I have that, and that in hot water or with a small amount of food when I'm having these seizures and that. But I have these every day anyway with my food, because yeah, as I say, electrolyte wise, as long as sodium's kept up, it doesn't throw all the others out of balance. But too much of potassium, that will throw it out of balance. And too much of magnesium, that will throw it out of balance. Calcium, I don't feel like I'm getting the calcium from the patches, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, in my other video I talked about the calcium supplement, that can throw it out of balance. I really take my calcium supplement with food, so I'm having the potassium and the sea salt, and if there is any magnesium I'm using, yeah, unless I'm not able to prepare food, like I'm in those seizure situations, I'll just cut off a tiny corner of that because it's really strong. This one's probably enough. Oh, I didn't read what was in this patch. 500 milligrams calcium, 300 milligrams magnesium, 10 milligrams zinc per patch. How much of that is absorbed, I don't really know. There's not much studies on it, but I think I actually should have probably checked this for more up-to-date information. I didn't think about it. Last I saw, which was a few months ago, the studies show that magnesium can't be absorbed through the skin. But being that vitamin D is absorbed through the skin, I don't know, I'm getting an effect from it. But yeah, arguably there is evidence, a small study. It's very small, it's not really anything massive. It's like a small study, one small study saying, yeah, we didn't see an effect. But yeah, I'll leave that up to you to decide. Magnesium's a whole thing. I'm not deep into magnesium culture. The next one of these patches that I've been using is coenzyme Q10. Actually, the reason I got this was aesthetic reasons, because I am finding beef short ribs to be quite expensive, and that's like my main anti-aging thing that I use on this diet, is beef short ribs. Really, really good for anti-aging effects, but I thought, right, let's try some coenzyme Q10. I used to work in a health food shop, so I knew like coenzyme Q10 is good for gums, like oral health, and also for like, yeah, feeling younger and looking younger. But what I've found I use this most for is days when I've had a lot of seizures, I have to go out and I still have a lot to do, and I've got no energy and coffee's not cutting it. Coffee is my one cheat on carnivore diet. I'm someone who has coffee. I have butter coffee at the minute, but I'm phasing out butter at the minute. I'm on my last block. I'm like really scared of phasing out butter, but I've been having black iced coffee instead. But yeah, I find this to give me a little pizzazz. Sometimes I use more than one patch. It's quite a low dose as coenzyme Q10 goes. It's 300 milligrams Q10 per patch. Now all these patches slowly release over 12 hours. And one of the drawbacks of the patches is that they can fall off, particularly in hot weather. Exercising, like when sweating's happening, they can fall off. And you really have to find the right place on your body. Otherwise, rubbing of clothes, movements can knock them off. Yeah, that's the drawback to them. It's really hard to find like the right spots. I find on the chest is the right spot. For a while I did the ankle, but yeah, that became not a good spot. So I put them like on my chest. So now we get into ones. So those are all the ones I haven't found any inflammatory reaction with. Obviously we talked about electrolytes a little bit. I've not noticed inflammatory reaction with those. That possibly there is a small reaction. I would prefer to have a more natural potassium salt actually. So if anyone knows about a more natural one, that would be great. If not, don't worry. So now we're going to get on to the 3 which I've found do have an inflammatory effect. So for me, that's basically they have a side effect, you know. So if I'm going to use them, then I need to be aware that there's going to be side effects. So this next one that's led me to not really use it. So we've got collagen. Again, because of the short rib issue, beef short ribs is the better place to get collagen and to get an anti-aging effect if you can afford it. Where I buy my food, there's like availability issues as well. I'm not always able to get the cuts that I want. So it's not just cost effectiveness, it's also availability. But this is a collagen 5-in-1, 100 milligrams of collagen per patch. 1,000 milligrams total collagen per patch. 200 milligrams of each collagen type. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 per patch. I don't really know what the collagen types are, but it must be some kind of plant-based, because my feet swell up, my hands swell up, my face swells up. From my last video, you might be able to see my face is going down a bit. I had exposure to black pepper and bay leaves recently, so it takes a long time for those to go down. This has been mostly aesthetic as well, like the coenzyme Q10 started to be, but because there's like that swelling effect, which is not good, and I also, you know, I noticed my face ages during that. I kind of don't use them. It's become something I don't use, you know, because what's the point if it makes me look worse and I'm only using it for looks? Yeah, I know collagen has other benefits, but yeah, I think I prefer to get collagen from diet, was the conclusion there. Now, these 2 are very obviously herb ones. So we have the menopause relief patches. Now, I'm not in the menopause, but I am in the perimenopause, and I believe I'm in the perimenopause. Now, medically, the perimenopause doesn't exist. There's no evidence that the perimenopause exists. So let's just all know that as I go forward. I believe myself to be in an early perimenopause from mold exposure. Okay, that's my lived experience and what I believe is going on. So I thought, right, let's try these patches. Now, I was dubious because I saw what's in them. We've got quite a long... Oh, well, that flew straight out of my hand. Probably you can't see it anyway, but it's quite a long list. I'll read it out. I knew there would be side effects to these patches because there is herbs in here. Yeah, and I've used a different herbal one which there is side effects for. But I thought, let's try it, let's see how bad the swelling is. So I don't know how much of this was absorbed into my body. There's no way of knowing, I guess, without like blood testing, which I'm not, you know, I'm not financially able to do that just willy-nilly. So we've got vitamin B9, folate, 300 mcg micrograms, vitamin B12, 1 milligrams, vitamin D3, 2 milligrams, calcium, 1.5 milligrams, that's calcium citrate, phosphorus, calcium phosphate, 1 milligram. We've got selenium, 100 micrograms, curcumin from turmeric, 2 milligrams. So yeah, that for me, that's a highly inflammatory spice. Don Quai root extract, angelica, 1.5 milligrams, licorice root extract, 1 milligrams, and black cohosh root extract, 1 milligram. Right, so this one's got a benefit risk weighing up. So I used it for, it wasn't as long as a week. The inflammatory reaction was really noticeable within 3 days. If I leave the oedema, I will start leaking lymphatic fluid from my feet, and it will pool in my slides and stuff. So it becomes quite clear that I've introduced something that's inflammatory to my system. Yeah, so the benefit of this was I was sleeping. So I wake up really, really early, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30 a.m. By 3:30 I just get up. Yeah, so it helped me sleep until the morning. My first medication round for my seizures is 6 a.m. and I slept. I can't remember if it was past that time, which is dangerous for me, or to that time, to the alarm, which I never sleep to the alarm. So it did help me sleep, but yeah, swelled me up badly personally. So I had an inflammatory response, unfortunately. And for me, it's not worth it. Unless the sleep gets much worse. The hormone balancing herbs, I would rather use the iodine that was mentioned in the last video and try to stick to strict carnivore to balance my hormones through proper fat ingestion of animal fats, like Dr. Bright talks about, and thyroid health that Dr. Bright talks about. I like Dr. Bright, and she's the one whose videos introduced me to the diet. Yeah, so we've got mixed up over here. There's one thing we haven't touched on. Now this last one, is a subject I am going to do a full video on, but let's just quickly go into this. CBD, CBG patches. Right, I will go into this a bit more in detail. Where my seizures are uncontrolled, when I was in A&E, someone recommended CBD to me as seizure control. She recommended it as preventative. I've not found it effective as preventative. I use it as a reliever. It does not stop my seizures, but it reduces the length and intensity. It does not reduce frequency. Now, this is CBD and CBG. You need the CBG, it would seem, to make the CBD work. I didn't find it worked on its own. 50 milligrams CBD per patch, 20 milligrams CBG per patch. Very slight oedema when I use this, but for me, currently, that's a side effect I'm willing to use and take because it is helping, although limited. I'm going to do a full video on this one, okay? I'm going to leave it there with that. So, that's my hack for getting around the ingestion of some of these awful ingredients that are in supplements, which I talked about in my other video, carnivore supplements. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has tried that hack or this type of supplement. If you got to this point and you enjoyed the video, it'd be great if you could hit like, because that's going to help my videos to grow and my channel to grow. You know, if you're interested in these type of subjects, hit subscribe and the bell notification so you can see me talk about these things in the future. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Peace be with you today.